what do you think about Trumpism stuff? Like, did you see Trump at CPAC?
No, I did not watch that nonsense.
Okay. So I had to watch it for the show, right? So I had to take one for the team.
Well, look, and that's one of the reasons why I watch people like you or Kyle or anyone else, because you guys have to filter through the garbage that I don't want to watch.
Yeah, we had to take one for the team.
That's right. And I don't want to, because first of all, I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. So what's the point? What's the point of watching that?
Because the moderates lost. The moderates lost. I mean, the McConnells, the Mitt Romneys of the world, the Liz Cheneys of the world, they lost. They completely lost. They had a golden Trump statue, to put it in perspective.
I did see that. I saw that. There was a whole big controversy about the shape of the stage in that room.
And it was some kind of Nazi rune or something like that.
That to me is the kind of nonsense that we don't need to be focused on. And yet that's what I saw on the news feeds was the focus on that rune symbol, which I don't really know the whole meaning of it, but most of the symbols were something before they were Nazi symbols anyway. They were something else. So to sit there, that's like dealing with Confederate statues. You're missing the point. I don't care what the shape of the stage is. I care what the policies are. And that's where people keep getting lost. And the media is pushing that stuff because they want to keep us all fighting.
But the Trumpism stuff is weird because I don't think Trump knows what Trumpism is. Like, he doesn't. Like, I don't think, like, it's very strange because this is who owns the party. Like, these are the policies that are going to be espoused. I mean, if you want to know what political gravity is, what gravity is, it's when you can hate somebody and still are stuck backing them up. Like, have you ever watched Boss with Kelsey Grammer?
No, I haven't. Is it?
It's so good. It's so good.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
He's so good.
All right.
It's Kelsey Grammer's greatest ever performance. Kelsey Grammer lived for 100 years and will never reach a performance as good as Boss.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to watch.
Yeah, it's so good. There's he is a mayor of Chicago, and he has some kind of brain disease or brain disorder where he is going mad. And yet he's not giving up power. He just clings to power. He's like, I am not losing power. And he stays and does everything that he needs to do in order to stay in power. If he needs to screw his daughter over, if he needs to screw his wife over, if he needs to take a bullet, all of the stuff he's willing to do. And he is like going mad while he's doing this. It is so good.
And the people support him still.
Yeah, but Kelsey Grammer is so vicious in that role. Like, he is like, there's a scene where they're trying to make the point about this notion of political gravity, where the person hates your guts. And yet that person, because of the politics of that stuff, and because you need something from him, that he could just emasculate you in these ways. Like, it's that. Like, there's one of the scenes where he walks out the bathroom and doesn't wash his hands and shakes the guy's hand, and the guy has to shake his hand anyway just because. Like, it's stuff like this, little stuff like that, just to be an asshole, just to show I have this much leverage over you. Trump has that.
Yeah.
Like, Mitch McConnell comes out and he says basically Trump is morally, ethically, practically responsible for the push, but I'm not going to vote. But he says if Trump runs again, I back him.
Of course. Because they're party over country.
Party over country.
And so the Democrats.
These guys, the leader of the House, not the leader, minority leader, he gets into an argument with Trump during the putsch attempt. And yet he says, hey, should Trump go to CPAC? He says yes. Immediately he says yes. Liz Cheney was like, no, he shouldn't be there. And they get into this kind of little back and forth. But Liz Cheney lost. The moderates lost. That's the guy who took the party. And so if Donald Trump doesn't know what Trumpism is, then they clearly don't either.
No, they don't have a mission. He doesn't have a mission. He doesn't know what he's doing from 1 minute to the next. He just spews what comes into his head at any given moment.
Yeah, it's just
it's not good. It's not, and the people that are just sort of following him, it really goes to show you how marketing and presentation is everything. You don't need substance. And he is the biggest snake oil salesman of them all. And so you don't need anything. It's like the emperor has no clothes and they're just following him around.
But that only works if there's no opposition. Like if Donald Trump doesn't work, against Bernie Sanders.
No,
that makes sense.
No.
Like if you have two people who are populist, one guy is the real thing and the other guy is a snake oil salesman, the real thing is going to get it. I think the people will see through it.
Well, that's why they couldn't let Bernie get that far.
Right. Yeah. Because if one guy is like $15 an hour minimum wage and the other populace is not going to go there, then, you got to make an argument as to why you're not going to go there. If one guy says, I'm going to give you Medicare for all, and the other guy's like, you're going to have big, beautiful healthcare, but he can't be specific about it. Like, it's not, it doesn't connect. The populism thing works against somebody like Clinton, because basically you can point to, hey, that woman's corrupt, that woman's this, that woman's that. And basically people wanted something so different, fundamentally different, to such an extent that they were willing to accept Trump. And look, 60% thought he couldn't do the job the day that they voted him in office. I mean, that gets how far and how bad people wanted something fundamentally different. Obama told those people he was going to get hope and change. They didn't get it. I mean, that's such an expansive thing to tell people.
He was very disappointing. He was very disappointing. And really, in retrospect, I shouldn't have been disappointed because I had this sort of expectation, and I shouldn't have, based on the fact that it's this young Black man. He's coming from Chicago. He's a community organizer. He must be progressive. Yeah, he was never progressive, and so a lot of that's on me. Like personally, I shouldn't have ever assumed that. But man, talk about just do nothing, sitting there, and now he's sandwiched between arguably the two worst presidents we've ever had. And so he looks great. He is sandwiched between the two worst. So now it's like he's just going to be able to sit in his $14 million estate and poke his head out every once in a while to stifle progress. And you're not allowed to say anything bad about him.
It's Joe Biden is going to be such a disappointment, and he didn't have to be. Because having so many people lose a life, it gives you opportunity. Like, you shouldn't let a crisis go without an opportunity. But those are for people who believe in things. Like, it takes somebody to believe in something that says, yes, I'm going to use this for crisis. If it's a Republican, I tell you this, they would have used it for some bad ends or some ends.
Yeah. They fall in line. They fall in line and they get done. They work their agenda. Yes. No matter what else, they work their agenda. The Democrats don't really have an agenda. But
even that in and of itself is weird.
Yes.
I mean, because it's on some level an agenda. I mean, it may not be it's an agenda of basically
nothing.
They basically have to figure out ways to make excuses to why they don't represent the interests of the public, especially when they say they're supposed to represent the interests of the public. That's their problem. Republicans don't have that problem because they're consistent philosophically. We're here for the rich. We're going to do everything we can for the rich. That's our job. Yeah. Democrats come in and say, we're here for the poor.
No.
We're good. Right. They don't buy it. Right. Nobody. Right. It's not true. Right.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.